Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Pantsless Podcast. My name is Tamola. With me here today is the usual suspects. Hello, everyone.
Whoa.
Oh, wave time.
Wave time.
We got
Wave time.
Joe, we got North, and we got Trevor. And we are back. Fucking back. It's been 2 months since the last episode. Took
Really? 2 months?
Yeah, we took January off, and December
We had
episode was
the-
in the middle of December, mid-December,
Yeah.
about mid-December. And we're back. Yeah. I'm sorry if the cams are blurry on stream. They are blurry for us too. But since the whatever you guys are watching on is probably a little bit smaller than what I'm watching on my end, you might not notice it. You might notice it now because I said it, but it is what it is.
They're gonna get their glasses and be like, actually.
This podcast is garbage.
Actually, I can't fucking watch this anymore.
If I can't count the freckles, I'm not watching.
All right. Anyway, how are you guys doing? How was the podcast vacation?
I forgot to
Two-
speak.
Too long. I was ready to do it again, for sure.
Yeah, me too, definitely. And then I just realized, is it this week? This week, Wednesday? Really?
Yeah, Tom sent out the message. It was like
Yeah.
a day or two ago. I was like, oh, forgot already. But I missed it a ton.
Yeah, me too. I've been itching to come back, but it definitely was a good idea to take January off. Essentially, nothing happened, and even though we would probably be capable of having 2 episodes and talk bullshit for 2 hours, it would have been just bullshit for 2 hours and no content.
Yeah.
We might have been able to squeeze 1 episode depending on when that would have been and when things went down with Google, essentially, which we will cover. We'll talk about Stadia a little bit today. But yeah, definitely a good idea to take January off.
It was definitely a good call because, yeah, like you said, there wasn't anything. Even after the Game Awards show, there wasn't really anything in December either. It's been
Yeah, that's true.
There's been a lot of other things happening, but none of it video game related.
Yes, definitely. Things that we're not gonna talk about, not today.
Yep.
But we have a packed show. We have way too many things to talk about, so we're not gonna cover everything. So I'm probably making the executive decisions here and then ranking those things in my head and what we are going to talk about and what we have time to talk about. But we're going to start with everyone's favorite. Everyone's favorite.
Drum roll.
Fallout 76.
No, please no.
You
I'm
missed
out.
that.
I'm done.
Anthem, my favorite.
Speaking of Anthem, there is something about Anthem.
Yeah, I heard it too.
Yeah.
I'll mention Anthem just before we start with the real thing. So, if you guys have not heard, the quickest recap of Anthem, it came out, it bombed, and everyone hated it, and then they went into this incubation mode with Anthem over at EA. They scrapped their entire roadmap, and then they just hunkered down, and they've been silent for a year and a half now. They've been working on Anthem 2.0, whatever the fuck that means. And reportedly this week, EA executives will have a meeting where this incubation team will present what the fuck they've done in the past year and a half, and the decision will be made if Anthem's going to be killed off completely, or are they going to move on with trying to salvage whatever you can salvage.
Yeah.
And it's just weird that you're gonna be like, let's pay our employees for a whole year instead of just kind of make that decision up front. I know they're probably ideas that they want to see fleshed out, but it's just, I guess they have that money, right? They make FIFA, get 7-year-olds to buy card packs. But I mean, Anthem was one of those games I really kind of multiplayer, loot kind of based games. So I was looking forward to it, and then it's never really a good sign when the gameplay demo they show at E3 is just a cinematic meant to look like gameplay. That's always a bad sign. So
Yeah. I hate it for the people that bought it. My boycotting of EA has paid off once again. I avoided a terrible decision. Because it did interest me, like the flying around in robot suits and shooting things in jungles sounds kind of fun. But I avoided it. And it sucks for the people that were expecting so much more content. Because that's the problem with games like Anthem, is that 90% of what you're paying for is a promise. Is a promise that this game is going to be something else that is going to be good and is going to have all this content. And then they showed you all the content and were like, look how good this thing's going to be. And actually, you know what? Maybe not. I hate that. And EA is just going to keep that money and keep their lies. And at the end of the day, they're still getting a bunch of money. I hate it.
yeah.
Yeah, like I remember when they talked about the Cataclysm events. That was, or I don't even remember if it was called Cataclysm, because that's a Blizzard thing. Anyway, it was meant to be these world-shaping events, like that the world would, physically change, much like Cataclysm did for World of Warcraft. But then, that update came, and it was essentially just an instance, like if I compare it to WoW, which had like these storms, world-changing storms, and it was completely separate from the game world. Because of course they're not gonna change the fucking game. Like they can't put out a game and then like 3 months after release, like we're gonna change the entire world now. Like, come on, man.
It was probably just a marketing, like, hey, try to get people to come back.
Yeah.
Look, there's new things, I promise.
That whole Cataclysm thing, and that may have been even what they called it, Tom. I seem to remember that term as well. But they were trying to get the FOMO. They were trying to get the fear of missing out. Ooh, this is Cataclysm, the big event right before they're going to make the game good. I better get it so I can be a part of that. And then it's like, who cares?
Because Trevor, you said that it's never good that you make a cinematic that looks like gameplay. The fucked up part with that entire E3 presentation was that the developers making the game did not even know what game they were making.
That was the first time they saw it.
Which it baffles my mind how BioWare like fucked up the 6 years of development was like condensed to essentially 2 years of crunch for every person in that studio to pump out that shit. And then it of course it fucking flops. What are you fucking expecting? Holy shit.
I actually thought the Anthem actually looked like a cool game, but I tried like year before that. I tried Destiny 2, and I feel like Destiny 2 was just in every way better, and it was already out. So if I wanted to play something like that, I would probably play Destiny, but it wasn't the game for me, so I didn't even bother picking up Anthem.
At least Bungie has like years and years of experience with Destiny 1 that they pumped into Destiny 2. And they understand probably way better how to make a live service game compared to like BioWare that has never made a live service game.
Yeah.
Did you ever try to play the it was probably a few months before the game came out. It was the beta of the game, where it was like, get in, you try it, do all the things.
Oh, I did.
Yeah, I was about to say,
did you get in?
Yeah.
What?
I streamed that shit.
At loading screens for hours on hours. Again, I had an Xbox, so it might have been a little different at the time.
So
but
I
like
played PC.
You're talking about
the Anthem beta, yeah. I
it
streamed it.
Didn't they have like this stupid thing? If you pre-order, you get to play it like 2 weeks earlier.
So
no, that was
the Origin access.
So Anthem has like 5 or 6 different release dates. Like total, because they released that game over and over and over again. But I got my copy from Funami. He got an extra code from somewhere and asked if I want to, try it. And I'm like, fucking sure. I'm going to hate it, but fucking sure. And I streamed it for a good like 3-4 hours. And look, the loading screens were fine for me. But my god, the flying was so fucked with mouse and keyboard. unplayable, fucked.
It was just like at the time, I guess it just crashed. It would be like you get to one loading screen to be like, all right, and then you go in and it shows the cinematic. Then there's another loading screen, but every time you got to a loading screen, they all look different. I guess that's the content of the game. Is there would be a chance that it crash, at least for Xbox. And so it was like playing roulette through like 6 loading screens, and I could not do it. But that was what made me not buy the game. So I guess it it worked.
Thank God.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah,
Thank God you got in.
Dodged a bullet.
Anyway,
Yeah,
Anthem 2.0
Warframe.
will be its fate will be allegedly decided this week by the suits of EA.
Yeah, and Warframe is a better option. If you want to play a game that has cool mechs and stuff, just play Warframe.
Warframe is also free, so you can try it.
Yeah,
And works.
it's not the best game, but it's better than Anthem.
Definitely. That's a very low bar, but you know.
Yeah, it's on the floor, but
Yeah. Anywho, let's talk about everyone's favorite gaming platform. Google Stadia.
Is it Stadia?
Stadia. So Stadia has been in the news for a couple of reasons. I'll quickly mention the first one. So first, it was a couple weeks back. It was reported that 2 internal Stadia studios are going to be shut down completely. These were apparently studios that were making Stadia exclusive games. So, losing that doesn't really bode well. And in that same press release, or the article that I read, it was also reported that everything from 2021 onward for Stadia has also been cancelled. Now, are these the first steps to Stadia being killed, or what?
yeah.
I didn't know they made games.
I didn't know that. I had not heard anything other than like, okay, we're shutting down everything. I had no clue either that they were making first parties.
I felt like I knew, but I don't think I did. I definitely can't think of any games they made. So I don't think I did know either.
They didn't get to the point where they made them.
Every game was still in development.
No one knows what those studios were making. No one knows what those like. So Rosa, I don't know if I actually have some filters on. I don't know if you're actually trying to say a swear word or not. I do apologize. there should not be any profanity filters in chat. But another thing also happened with Stadia a couple days ago. So I'm gonna pull this thing up here.
While you're pulling that up, they did say that the people in those studios, they are going to try to relocate them in other positions. So they didn't just, all those devs didn't all just lose their jobs, which is always good to hear. Yes,
that is very good.
Because that's not their fault. They probably just got screwed. It's like, oh no, I have to work for Google Stadia.
They got screwed with Google's ambitions to create everything but support nothing.
Yeah, I'm seeing a trend on Anthem and now this, where it's like, here's the 1,000 promises that you're gonna get to do, and then never. Like Google was like, when it first came out, it was like, what, play at 4K 60 frames per second, like easy, no problem.
Yeah,
and that didn't work at all.
She sent me a list of apps that Google has started and then immediately killed.
Oh, is it the graveyard website?
Yeah.
Killed by Google.
Killed by Google.
Yeah. That's a thing.
Oh yeah.
Dude, it's a lot. I'm scrolling.
Yeah, you can put it in chat, Joe. You're a moderator, so you should bypass everything. There we go. Killedbygoogle.com. Yeah, every time Google kills any prominent project, that link, that site gets circled around heavily.
I mean, they have enough money to just kind of like, try this. Oh, it doesn't work. Okay, we're done. Try this.
So yeah,
I mean, yeah,
so
it'll
actually,
probably
like, if I can play devil's advocate just for like 2 seconds, I feel like Google is one of those companies that, on some level, I appreciate what they are doing, because what they are like, at least they're innovating, at least they're trying something, and they might throw a shitload of pasta on the wall and see what sticks. But they have the cash to do that. They have the cash to dump $1 billion on an app and then have it fail. While like any other smaller company, they don't have that opportunity. So in a lot of ways, like, even though I mean, I don't think it's a healthy business model to throw pasta at the wall and see what sticks, but I understand that Google has that unlimited amount of funds, and but they have no issue probably getting investors involved. Like, any Google rep going into any place in any investment company and be like, we're going to create a killer VR app right now. And they're like, take my money. I don't care.
They are Google.
Yeah, exactly.
They made Google. So it's like, yeah, you got to.
Yeah.
What if the next thing they do is Google too, and then you're not there for it?
Since they announced that, I'm sure they've probably recouped a large amount of the funds already. Like if you think about Google, how Google makes money, it's just by being there. Like, just by providing a service that people use all the time. They just make money. Like, for no physical exchange. They don't have to produce content. They don't have to actually put anything on the internet. They just make money. Like, if you really think about it, it's kind of nuts that they only provide services for other people to put stuff on, and then they get just billions of dollars. So yeah, they can't afford to do that kind of stuff. And I think I hadn't thought about that before, Tom, but having someone out there that can just do random garbage like that, and the rest of the world can see it fail and be like, I'm glad I didn't waste that money.
It's kind of weird. Like, most of these like apps or ideas on the killed by Google list, they're not bad ideas, and I'm still like wondering, like, why would they kill some of these, like a Chromecast audio? That doesn't sound bad. Like, stream audio wherever. Why not? That sounds pretty
I'm
like a good
assuming
idea.
that a lot of those apps have like ideas that are also implemented into newer apps.
Yeah.
They're not
probably.
killing the tech entirely. I mean, why would they do that? If they develop some new technology, of course they're gonna fight tooth and nail to keep that, and definitely like patents and stuff.
I'd
But-
say a lot of those apps have probably inspired other apps too that actually do function well.
Yeah,
sure that there's-
if anything, there's like then more competent developers out there that can like do one project and nurture that project into something way better.
Yeah.
Rosa is like refuting everything I'm saying in chat, and I'm sure Rosa knows a lot what she's talking about. I don't really. Half of what I'm saying is assumptions.
Yeah.
But to go back to Stadia, another big thing happened. So this man named Andrew Spinks, who maybe doesn't ring any bells for anybody. It certainly did not ring any bells for me who that is until a couple days ago. He is the CEO of a company called Realogic. Now that might ring some bells for somebody. But Realogic, they are the creators and developers, or the creator and developer of a little known game called Terraria, which is like the 6th most sold game on PC and the 18th most sold game ever. Now, why am I talking about Andrew? I feel like the only justice I can do Andrew is to actually show his Twitter thread for everyone. And I'll read this out loud. At Google, my account has now been disabled for over 3 weeks. I still have no idea why, and after using every resource I have to get this resolved, you have done nothing but give me the runaround. My phone has lost access to thousands of dollars of apps on Google Play. I had just bought Lord of the Rings 4K and can't finish it. My Google Drive data is completely gone. I can't access my YouTube channel. The worst of all is losing access to my Gmail address over 15 years. I absolutely have not done anything to violate your terms of service, so I can take this no other way than you deciding to burn this bridge. Consider it burned. Terraria for Google Stadia is cancelled. My company will no longer support any of your platforms moving forward. I will not be involved with a corporation that values their customers and partners so little. Doing business with you is a liability. Fucking ouch.
Oof.
Feel sorry for the 10 people that were going to play that game on Stadia.
Actually looking forward to it.
Wow, that's nuts.
Yeah, that's crazy.
It is crazy. So a little backstory to this. In January, Terraria, the official Terraria Twitter account, this happened in January 27th. They got a there's a little confusion involved in this. So apparently they got a message of a TOS violation on their YouTube channel. But for some reason, the assumption was that it was an automated message and there was nothing that violated terms of service in the first place. And they didn't do anything. And now the assumption is that because they did not do anything, this alleged TOS violation is why Andrew Spinks has lost access to everything. And no one knows like what. And in true YouTube fashion, they send you a message that you have a TOS violation, but they don't tell you what that violation is or on which video it is.
They basically just expect. I think the expectation is always when someone gets a TOS, it's like, oh, I didn't do that. You know, you send in a request and then they look at it. And so I guess from Google's standpoint, it's like, all right, have a bot like mark all the videos that are potential, and then we get to look at the things that come back. And then so that's like a kind of foolproof system that even if you TOS like let's say accidentally TOS 30% of people that get that, you're still getting all the other ones without actually like having to put in that work. It just saves a lot of backbone. But I guess, I mean, if they didn't refute it, which is what 99% of people do, I could see it being the reason. I've never usually hear about people refuting it.
The only thing that is going on here is that Andrew Spinks has tried to resolve this issue. What is more baffling here is that we're talking about not just some Randy on YouTube. This is the CEO of a company that is in business with Google. I mean,
yeah, that's pretty nuts.
Yeah, that's I think what makes it so weird that can't get this resolved when he's trying to do business with the company itself. And it's not like he's some random indie developer. The dude has, like, his game is one of the most sold games on this fucking planet. But, it's Google, and, they have billions of dollars, and they don't give a shit, so.
Yeah.
Maybe they just, I mean, I am speaking to, not just throwing out ideas, but maybe they just didn't want to pay for maybe they wanted to burn that bridge. It's not like if they're trying to stop Stadia from doing all that stuff, it's like, man, if I was going to pay, however X amount of dollars for that game, it's probably a bunch because it's a good game. It's like, well, now you don't have to.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. Last year we talked about developers refusing to take that Stadia deal because the money that Google was like offering to developers was so little that it didn't even warrant like negotiations at all. Was
that before Stadia came out? Because then I guess if it's failing, then you gotta offer more money.
I mean, it was during like Stadia's initial like first couple of months.
Yeah, so unknowns.
Yeah.
There's probably like two people responsible for all the customer support. And they're like arguing like, I thought you answered that email. No, I didn't. I thought you did.
I mean, legitimately, like, I don't think Google has customer service. If anyone tells me that they have customer service, I don't believe you. I don't believe that they have a dedicated customer service team. I believe that there's people working in Google that can do customer service. But I don't believe that there's a single person within Google that is a customer service rep. Their customer service is non-existent. It is a fever dream. It's an illusion. It's the unicorn that no one can catch.
I think they're just trying to go fully automated everything. So it's like, well,
Of course they are.
kick out the kinks, and in 10 years we won't have to hire anybody. So
Because like everyone knows that the YouTube copyright like bot is broken. It copyrights things that it shouldn't, and it issues strikes for things that it shouldn't. Does Google care? Yeah, maybe they care on some level, but why would they care too much if there's literally no competition on a video hosting site? And somebody's gonna say like, oh, what about Dailymotion? Fuck Dailymotion. No one's fucking going there.
Vimeo, come on.
Vimeo. Yeah, it's they have what we call fuck you money, and that's where you just have so much money that no matter what anyone says, you can just say fuck you.
Yeah, I believe that. I fully believe
That's
that.
That's what we call it.
I'm just it baffles me. I'm looking up. Stadia had a pro subscription service where like you pay for this. It's kind of like Game Pass, so you get all these games. With the amount of money that they have, I'm surprised they only have about 20 games on this list, which consist of not like decent games, but like Cthulhu Saves Christmas. So like an actual title on here, which I've never heard of in my life. It's just, I don't know. I guess they went as all in as they wanted to, but
Cthulhu Saves the Cthulhu Saves franchise is old.
Maybe that's why I haven't heard of it.
I mean, like, not. I guess I have some Cthulhu games on my fucking Steam too.
This one's from 2019. I have my interest peaked.
Yeah, I have.
It has good reviews too. Wow, never mind.
I have a Cthulhu
Very
Saves
positive.
the World.
I'm
Trevor,
sorry.
2012.
I'm sorry.
Watch your mouth.
Yeah, yeah. Watch your fucking mouth.
Check yourself before you wreck yourself, son.
Okay, my bad. Let me pick on another game.
Try picking on a bad one, not Cthulhu Saves Christmas.
PUBG. There we go.
Yeah, that's a bad game.
See,
We can all get behind that.
that we can riff on.
Monster Jam Steel Titans. There we go.
Monster Jam.
Monster Jam Steel Titans does sound like a generically bad game. We can definitely.
But if y'all have ever been to a Monster Jam show, those things, I can probably pull up a picture of me when I was about 13 going to those things. My little foam finger, and the only, it's just big truck and loud. Down here in the South, that's all I want. So
You're like mile away and you still gotta wear like ear protection.
oh, I brought those earmuffs. they were earmuffs my dad used when he mowed the grass, and they're just like soundproof earmuffs. And then I'm sitting there, my tiny head with these ginormous earmuffs meant for grown man, and then just like watch a big truck run over a small car and having the time of my life.
Yeah. What do you need in life, honestly? That's it. That's all you need.
So what do you guys think? When is Stadia getting officially buried?
Hard to say. I was hoping they would do it like overnight, be like, fucking.
I don't know. I think by the end of the year we're gonna know something. I think by the end of this year we're gonna know something one way or another. They're gonna, now it may not be that they're shutting down completely, but they're gonna end up making another major change, I think, before the end of the year.
Yeah, I mean, nothing gets shut down. It gets like there's a pivot, or reallocating resources, or call it whatever, but it's still like you're killing it. No. Just slightly euthanizing it.
We here at Google Stadia are changing our professional trajectory. It's like, no, you're not, dude. You're just trying to let this thing slowly peter out until everyone forgets about it so you can kill it.
But if you think about it, this is definitely the year for Stadia because people are staying home more.
Was it that fucking last year?
That was, you would think last year was the year for that.
Yeah, but
and they still flopped.
Yeah, but see, everyone was waiting for PlayStation and Xbox, but this is the year.
Now that PlayStation and Xbox are out, and they can play those consoles, Stadia is gonna rise to the top.
Because like they had their opportunity, and this is like Joe said, they had that fuck you money. They could have fucking made any amount of deals to pump like massive amounts of games out on Stadia last year when they fucking knew that everyone is at home, when they fucking knew that like every other platform had a rise in like users. Fucking Steam broke their all-time concurrent like yesterday again. So, like, how do you fuck this up? Like Netflix saw like records, and like every other streaming platform saw records broken, and like Steam broke their all-time concurrent, I don't know, 100 times last year, and they're still doing it, like fucking still. And like meanwhile we have Stadia limping like out of their fucking carcass when they came out, and you know, already half dead, and you know, begging for Google like to give that fuck you, like a little bit of fuck you money, just smidge, and like they couldn't do it, and
yeah. The stars aligned for Google Stadia in a major way. Like cryptocurrency is still going through the roof, so it's still super hard to find GPUs. What would you do if you can't find a GPU? You could get Google Stadia if it wasn't garbage. And everyone's stuck at home and they can't do anything, and well, might as well get Stadia. I'm hoping. You know, this is like if I was a normal person, and I'm not. If I was a normal person, I would think, man, you know, this pandemic thing is really putting a damper on things. But I don't want to spend $600 on a console that I only anticipate to play for the next 12 to 14 months. Google Stadia should have been like, hey, you don't need to invest $500 in a PlayStation. You can do this for $50 a month, and we'll just give you games that you can play. But they screwed the pooch. The stars aligned, and they still messed it up. Like there was so many angles that they could have taken. They could have taken the GPU shortage angles. They could have taken the temporary gamers, because that's what a lot of people are during all of this. They are temporary gamers, and that's great that they found some solace in during a difficult time in something that we enjoy all the time.
Hear that,
but
Google?
They could
fucking free fucking marketing right here. And you, like, look, you don't need to be a fucking genius for this shit. Come on, you got the fuck you money. We have nothing. And we can run your shit better.
Yeah. I feel like
I have the best idea, or the idea what they're probably thinking. They're going to shut down Stadia and implement it into Chromecast. Because everyone has, like a lot of people have Chromecast.
North, you want to hear the secret? The mega secret right now?
What?
When Stadia was announced, and the whole thing is play on any screen whatsoever. The newest Chromecast can't fucking run Stadia.
Some people forgot to talk to each other when they were making that.
Yeah.
Mr.
Oh, this will work. It'll be fine. We'll go ahead and advertise it.
Somebody opened up an email and was like, per my last email, like, dang it, shoot.
I forgot to make it work on the stick. I knew I forgot something.
And like, I'll just quickly check because it didn't launch on Apple. So can I? Okay, Stadia is for Apple now. It has a whopping 9 reviews.
Oh my god.
And 4 stars out of 5.
There we go.
So 9 Google employees bought Apple phones and went and downloaded Stadia.
Yeah, I mean, are
okay. They like?
Okay. So I think this is only showing, but they're all written in English. I think they are though. Only reviews from Finland, which would be 9 reviews total. I don't know.
Either way, not many.
Not many, yeah.
It is a cool concept that, like, oh, I can be on the subway, get on my phone, and then you figure out that you need like insane download speeds to actually, you know, have the ability to play low latency games and it look good at the same time. And then you're like, oh, well, if I have those download speeds at home, and you know what else I have at home? Any other console.
But this is definitely the era for Stadia, because 5G is hitting pretty much everywhere nowadays. so you can get those download speeds and low latency, but
There's
I
still
guess-
that one very crippling thing that is especially prevalent in the United States, and that's data caps.
Yeah.
And Google said last year, or the year before, whenever the fuck Stadia launched, or right before it launched, they said that they trust ISPs in the States to do the right thing, to either like get rid of data caps entirely or, you know, raise them or whatever. And I'm a firm believer that capitalism rules, but I don't like it. Why the fuck would any ISP do that?
Yeah, that's the opposite of good for money for them. Like there's no reason for them to do that. By doing that, they're just taking money out of their own pocket, and those guys aren't going to do that.
I wonder what motivated our ISPs to drop data caps, or like
Heavy push, and
Really?
it became a norm instantly. They can't switch it anymore. I mean, people would revolt. And the first company in Finland that issues data caps, every single like rival company would fucking jump on that immediately. And since Finland is such a small country, we don't have the same issue that the States has, where the ISPs work like cartels essentially, where you live in one state and you essentially have one option, or well, most have like two options. There's like the big one that everyone uses, and then the other one that's smaller and usually a shittier one.
It's usually area based. So like
Yeah.
all our neighborhood has Xfinity, and then like at my old house we had AT&T. So it's like you have options, but you don't. It's like this is what you get if you live here, if you buy this house.
And I mean, years ago on a live interview, I forget, I don't think it was the AT&T guy, but some head honcho from one of the ISPs literally on camera said that they've made deals whereas in one city you can't get like Comcast, but you get AT&T, and then in another one you get Comcast, but you don't get AT&T. He literally described cartel cartel business model on camera, and people were like, "Oh yeah, okay,
oh,
That makes sense.
sounds good. Oh, I'm down for that.
that's how it works. Okay, it's cool. It's cool.
Cool,
Yeah,
Cool.
It is pretty crazy how it works. And most of the time, it's just whoever gets there first too. It's just like, oh, I'm here. I'm the ISP now.
I have claimed this area. Boom.
Yeah. It's pretty. It like it got so bad in the States that they had to like, at least I know in my state they had to like start enforcing anti-monopoly laws, and like in our area, the whole reason the business I work for exists, which is I do work for an ISP, is because the state of Illinois forced Verizon to start letting other ISPs sell their service over Verizon's phone lines. Like they had to make them by law, otherwise they were just going to have a monopoly. Because in some areas you just can't really do much, and it's so expensive to start doing anything on your own. Like for us, we had to get like it was a $10+ million grant to even start putting our fiber in the ground. So it's expensive. It's tough to do, and yeah, most of the time it's just whoever gets their flag on the ground first.
I'm
Just
going
kind
to
of fucked
dial
up.
up.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, it's no wonder that Nokia got the deal to run 4G to the moon, because they don't have fucking data caps.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I don't remember Finland ever having like data caps. I know there were some very like shitty deals with caps, but even like, I don't know, ISDN or the first versions of ADSL never had data caps here. Anywho, Stadia's gonna die, I predict, this year.
Woo! In one way or another, Stadia is not going to exist in its current form,
Yes,
for sure.
Definitely not in its current form. Yeah, Maestro makes a good comment in chat too, that ISPs fought like very fucking hard against Google Fiber and lobbied against to block Google from entering like the ISP like business model.
Yeah.
And if that doesn't tell you what the ISPs are after, then I don't know what the fuck.
Yeah. And it's important to note, and a little behind the scenes on how ISPs work. It's important to note that he specified utility poles. We bury all of our fiber. It is obscenely expensive to cross a road, and every time you cross a road, you have to get permits from a city to go under it. Anytime you cross a highway, it is even more obscenely expensive. If you have to start going under our railroad tracks, it's not even worth the money. Like there have been times where we have gone 10 miles from the other direction because we didn't want to cross the highway because it was so obscenely expensive to cross that highway. It was cheaper, and it cost $7 a foot for us to put fiber in the ground. It cost us $7 a foot, and it was cheaper to come from the other way. Maybe not 10 miles. It may have been closer to 5, but still, it was closer to go $7 a foot, 5 miles, than it was to go under one highway. So them stopping them from using utility poles, that's bleeding that money out. Because in a lot of towns, the cities have vested stakes in their ISPs. If it's like a co-op for that area and not like one of the big boys, they have vested stakes in their ISPs. There's a few of them around here that are linked to towns. So by making them dig underground, they're bleeding them of tens of thousands, if not millions more dollars anytime they start doing work.
If I would be Google, I would buy out every single ISP. and
I don't think
and
business
just have
works
the
like that.
monopoly.
That is an imaginary number.
Yeah, so a little behind the scenes. That's a douche move.
Yeah, I mean, it's in the best interest of ISPs to not let Google do any business. Because the package that Google was with fiber when they like start rolling it out to people, and it still works in a couple cities, I believe. It was like way cheaper than any regular like major ISP and like way better speeds. So of course, like any Verizon or AT&T or whatever, they never want to let Google into the market.
Yeah, and also like internet is pretty cheap in Finland. I think I get like 100 down and 10 up, and it's like less than 10 euros a month.
Yeah.
I wish. Oh, I wish.
Yeah,
My internet bill is obscene.
like
And then Xfinity. I had Xfinity come out here for a week straight. Came out here at least three times. 2 times it was like technician guys, and trying to get a hold of them is because they're pulling at Google. Their service is all automated, and the amount of times I got told to unplug the thing and plug it back in, unplug my router and I was like, I know it's not the issue because I've done it 70 times and it didn't work. And then some guy came out here and was like, oh, I'll get it fixed for you, and then he leaves and didn't get it fixed. And then and then they gave me $20. So Xfinity gave me $20 for my time of a week. So it's definitely a lot more than 10 euros if you do some math. Oh,
Yeah, that's the only, or not the only, but one of my big benefits is that I get free internet, and it's a gig.
I'm gonna run a wire to your house. I'm gonna steal some.
Yeah. So, but hopefully, whenever and that's what's cool about where the position I'm in is like I get to help test certain things, and we've recently gotten 100 gig backbone cards, so we're hoping to be able to start serving 10 gig to customers. Just a small rant. I think that's really sick.
So basically, you're the customer.
Yeah.
Because no one else can afford it.
Oh no, we already have people that are buying like 7 gigs. It's nuts.
It's probably gonna be like $1,000 a year.
It's a lot. It's a lot.
But you can download GTA 5 in like 5 seconds.
Yeah, I just uninstall games whenever I'm done playing them for the night. I'll just
There you go.
re-download it tomorrow. What's the big deal?
Yeah, it's like 5 seconds.
I only have a 40 gig hard drive. I just keep deleting and reinstalling games.
That's my life for the past 5 years.
Oh man. Anyway, that was Stadia.
Oh, Stadia, yeah. You guys want to hear about a game?
No.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, yeah, sure. My bad. That was the wrong answer.
Shoot. 50-50 chance.
So this game came out like a week ago. And the devs announced today that they've sold 1 million copies. And I never thought that I would say these words, but my God, I have finally fallen for a early access survival crafting game.
Oh, it's
Oh,
no.
It's the holy trifecta, my boys.
Yeah. Like every new game on Steam, survival, horror.
Yeah. I thought
Then-
about it for a second, and then I was like, no, I'll just get born again.
What was
That-
it?
that game is-
Valheim?
Yeah, Valheim. Fuck me, that game is good.
Interesting. How good would you say?
Very good. It is very rare to play a early access game that is this polished and this well made with this much content out of the gate as early access.
How's the UI? I only saw like a little bit of gameplay, and the UI kind of didn't impress me.
Well, the UI definitely needs work. I do think that. But I'm
I
gonna
feel- If that's the least polished thing, but it's still functional, that's actually totally
Yeah.
acceptable for early access.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, definitely. I'm gonna pull up some gameplay here, so people can
yeah.
see what the fuck's going on.
I don't have much on this because I watched it for like 5 minutes. But what I noticed is that you can like put down like torches, and then you can like add more wax to it so it burns. That's pretty much my experience on it. It
So-
looks cool.
I give you this, like if you just look at the game for a couple of minutes or seconds, it looks very basic, but it goes deep. The crafting mechanics go deep. The progression goes pretty deep. I'm gonna pull up this French stream.
Oh wait, please say there's no skill trees, please.
There
I'm
is
begging.
there is no skill trees, but there is a progression. Watch
I'm
this,
fine with
dude.
that.
Watch this.
But I
dude a little
love
bit.
skill trees.
I also love skill trees. I was just shocked when you said you
I
cut me to the
cannot.
core, Trevor. I live on skill trees.
The amount of
Yeah.
Assassin's Creeds I've played where I just want to do everything at once, but it's like you have to like build up to it.
The game follows like very basic.
He's just checking
kind of
his
a-
phone.
He's just
Yeah, I mean-
checking his phone.
I know he's I'm trying to find another stream. Jesus. I pulled up Ko and he's like not doing anything, which is like annoying. Maybe he's doing now something. He's building.
So
a
how
little
many
bit.
how many zombies are in this game? It's survival, so there must be zombies.
Well,
Yes.
they're not called zombies. They're called draugrs in
Are
Norse.
there actually zombies? Oh my god.
I mean, they're called. I mean, it's Norse mythology. What do you want, man?
I don't know, not zombies.
Well, you gotta have draugrs in Norse mythology. Come on, man. You know this.
I do. You got me.
You played
They-
Skyrim?
They could have been, I don't know, goblins or some other.
But there are
Could've been
goblins
anything.
too.
They got goblins too. Well, now I have to play it. It's the whole package.
So why play this over Minecraft? What's the kicker?
Well, there's way more combat in this, and there's way more. The survival aspect is bigger. Ko loves to build stuff, which is why he's doing that right now. The building mechanics in this game go pretty deep. Like it looks basic as shit, but once you start to understand that when you're building a house, you need to think about like how you're gonna support that building. You gotta have support beams. You gotta like figure out like if the building won't collapse or not. You have to make sure that everything is connected correctly. You have to understand that like you can't make impossible structures. You can make killer looking fucking buildings with this basic little looking game. It has a massive world which is randomly generated when you start the server. But it is massive, and it's also flat. I learned that today. So you can literally like you can go over the edge and die.
So is it kind of like just kind of server wise, kind of like Minecraft? You just hop on, hop off of one, and then.
Yeah, I mean, like I can host a server, and when I hop off, it disconnects everyone.
Oh, the Pantsless Valheim server, got it.
Yeah,
What does the guy look like he's about to die?
The next podcast will be virtual, and we'll all just have Valheim characters sitting beside a fire.
So what are there like classes in it, or how exactly do you customize your character?
So there's not a whole lot of customization. You create a character when you start, and it's very basic still, like how you do create. You can craft different armor pieces and use those, but there's not like, don't expect like hundreds of different costumes. There are no costumes. Like every piece of gear has stat boosts and stuff.
Yeah,
but
and it is still super early too. So.
Oh yeah. But I believe like the setting is that you've died and this is the afterlife, and you kind of have to survive. It is
survive in the afterlife.
How are there zombies in the afterlife? That's where they don't go. That's where zombies don't go.
But they're droggers. They're not zombies.
That's cool though. I think that's so. Okay. I like that.
And
go ahead, sir.
Yeah, go. Ask what I did.
Well, no, I was just gonna say like that helps you suspend like any disbelief. You know that you've already established that pretty much anything can happen. You know, you can't really have people saying, well, they're Vikings, this and this and that, and it's like, well, he's also in the afterlife. He's dead. Anything can happen.
Yeah, I mean, there's a giant tree above you like at all times, and you know it never goes away.
Oh, yeah.
So there's a giant floating tree with zombies in the afterlife, but I have to worry about structural integrity when I'm building.
Yes, because you can only build authentic Viking halls.
I'm seeing that.
Yeah, but basically, like I think the game is in you can like put it in two different categories. There's the base building aspect, which goes deep, like you can. Sully spent fucking hours on this shit. He loves this crap too. Or then it's that resource gathering and fighting bosses, or gearing up for the next boss. Basically, how the game works is you spawn on an island, like the first island, and on that island there is a boss. And once you kill that boss, then you're kind of like, then you know you're ready to progress, and then you get to the next island. However, you get to the next island. And then you basically repeat it. So it is like the same things happen on each island essentially, but the systems get deeper and they get a little bit wider on what you can do and how to like better your survival.
So it seems like a mixture of like linear, like this is the progression you take, but also like randomized world, you know, different.
Yeah, there's definitely like a progression path which you're taking, and which is always the same, but the world is random, and you choose how to tackle everything. Very much this choose your own adventure type of deal. You don't have to go for
intrigued.
The bosses. Like you can spend building bases. You can, like Sully would rather spend doing this over anything else in the game. And I mean he already, like on his own server, he built like a beautiful house that I checked out, and he gave me a house tour, and I was like impressed, and that showed me like how much, like with Sully's like quick understanding of the game and how deep it goes, he was able to create something that like it looked fucking cool.
Yeah, Sully is definitely a builder. He makes some nice stuff.
Oh, definitely.
Yeah, gosh dang it.
I really like this game. I really like this game. It is so fucking good.
Glad I'm getting to see it. The only thing I heard about it was yesterday, and I had a pest control guy come over to check and see if my house had termite damage, and he walked in to my room, saw the computer, he goes, "Oh, you play games? I play Valheim. Have you heard about that one?" I was like, he had to try to have a full-on conversation about Valheim. I'm like, bro, go check and see if I have termites at my door. Like, what? It was the weirdest interaction I've ever had.
Dang.
In regards to pest control interactions.
Yeah, exactly.
In my 5.
But yeah, I fucking love this game. There's a couple things that I want to highlight that the devs have done that I want to praise them for this. One, there's item degradation in the game, so your shit like breaks. But thank you, developers. Repairing your shit does not cost resources. Thank God I don't have to mine for shit to repair my shit. North, you stop.
That's kind of the point.
You stop the fucking frown, motherfucker. They have removed a redundant step that just pisses everyone off. This is my belief in it, at least.
Having to farm so I can farm is stupid.
Yes. Fucking yes.
Does
But
it
also,
cost
why have
anything?
them break?
No,
in the
it's
first place?
completely, and I understand what you're saying, like Trevor. Like, why does it then break? I completely understand. So I believe that they made that choice because you are going out in the wild. You're hunting for shit and you're fighting enemies and you're fighting bosses. There needs to be some form of a little kitty cat's on stream now. There needs to be like some little form of risk involved and like planning ahead. But I do understand what you mean that, okay, well, then it's kind of redundant that they break.
Do you have to come back to your base to repair it, or can you repair it in the field?
Okay, I see. Yeah. I get it now.
Yeah, that makes sense.
The second thing that I want to highlight that thank you developers that they did this. Food does not spoil, ever. Thank God.
North, you look like you don't like that either.
No, I actually that's good.
North is just like a purist elitist right now. It's fucking... In my video games, I need the biggest and the bestest of realisms ever.
Yeah, we can't all like Tarkov, okay? I enjoy UIs. I enjoy having a user interface to speak of.
But yeah, honestly, this game came out a week ago. I put like 15 hours into it. It's not that much. Sully has already put over 40 hours into it, and Trevor's like close behind on like 32, 33 hours. Not this Trevor, but the old Trevor.
1.0.
Well, yeah, the 1.0 guy. and yeah, I will keep playing this. I think this is an excellent video game. I think this is a very good example on how to do early access well. I mean, they're still early. They can still fuck it up in numerous ways, but goddamn, man. I don't think I've ever played an early access game this fucking polished and with this much content.
What's the
building
price?
look very nice.
Price
I'm
point
surprised
is $20.
Oh,
I'm surprised how good the buildings look.
Yeah.
And also how simple it is to create them.
Yeah, before I bought this, Sully said that it looks like it has PS1 graphics, and I didn't like fully understand what he means. And then I launched the game, and I looked at it, and I'm like, yeah. If you look close enough, sure enough, it looks like it has PS1 graphics, but they do weird things with lighting in the game that like creates that illusion that it looks better than what it is.
That's what I was about ready to say. Actually, is whenever he was in that hut, like that's one of the things that I feel like is always super dodgy in EA and in early access games. Is the lighting. Lighting is always like their bottom priority, which is understandable. It doesn't really impact that much, but the lighting in this game, like you can see reflections, like the light is actually like flickering and ebbing and flowing with the fire. I think you're right. I think that they do a lot of nice stuff with lighting, and it makes it look better than it is, and it looks awesome.
There's also like weird like details in the game where if you build a house and you put a fireplace in the house where you cook your food, but if you don't build a chimney, you'll die because the smoke can't go anywhere.
That's nuts.
So you gotta build a fucking chimney in your house so you don't die. I love that shit.
And then there's zombies.
And then there's zombies.
They are droggers. They're not zombies. Sure, they're dead soldiers, but come on.
And you can actually like see the smoke like rise up and coming out of those small holes.
Yeah, because like when you're like outside and you're cooking something inside, the smoke comes out from the chimney and shit. Like you see that stuff.
That's so funny that you got to worry about not getting carbon monoxide poisoning, but also you can't go outside because there's zombies. So it's like choose your poison.
That's that fucking realism North wants. You know, gotta have that chimney meta.
On the world tree, we have to make sure that Yggdrasil is as realistic as possible.
Exactly.
Yeah, I'm probably gonna buy it. I hate you.
No worries, man. I really like Valheim. I think it's like an excellent video game. And one other thing that is like, thank you, developers. Your character persists from server to server.
Woohoo!
Fuck
I like
yes. Fuck yes. I'm gonna quickly look up the developers because I'm sounding stupid because I don't know them.
And with what's nice about that, like just thinking about it, is it kind of just makes sense within the world they've built from their game. If you're hopping from island to island on the world tree, it makes sense that even if you join another server, that server is just another island on the world tree.
Yeah.
So it makes sense that you would still look the same there. That's cool.
Is it like Terraria? You have to go to like your previous world, get your stuff, fill out your inventory, then jump to another server.
I mean, you can.
No?
You can fill your inventory and then go to another server if you want to.
Yeah.
But like most of the stuff, I guess if you're like a high level character and you go to a low level server, you might want to take a bunch of shit with you. But if I like hop, if Sully hops from his server to Trevor's server, he doesn't take anything with him because he's essentially he doesn't benefit anything of it, like in any way. And I mean, the Trevor server is the one that is furthest right now. Iron Gate AB. It's a Swedish company. AB means Aktiebolag. Just a company that's in the stock market. So Iron Gate is the developer and Coffee Stain Publishing is the publisher. Coffee Stain, some might remember from publishing and developing Satisfactory. And they've also published Deep Rock Galactic and Goat Simulator.
Oh, I know that last one.
All of those are pretty decent games, so that's good to hear.
Good games.
Even Goat Simulator.
Yeah, it's a funny game. It's a fun.
It does exactly what it wants.
Yeah. I agree.
Yeah, that's cool. I am definitely going to end up with that probably tonight.
Yeah, please play with us.
And then I'll delete it. And then I'll delete it at the end of the night and reinstall it tomorrow.
I mean, the game's like
not pay for internet.
The game is really small. All the install file is small. I think it's like 1 gigabyte or 700 megs or whatever.
With those graphics, I'm not surprised.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, it's an artistic choice that they've chosen very clearly.
Yeah,
better than Ark. You're paying.
Fuck Ark.
Game's like 200 gigabytes.
I can't even play that game. For some reason, it runs like absolute dog trash on my computer, and I have no idea why.
It's fucking garbage.
Yeah, 200 gigabytes. They
awful.
bought Vin Diesel though, so maybe it gets better.
What?
Yeah.
Fuck.
They bought Vin Diesel.
Yeah, Vin Diesel, the Ark 2.
Oh yeah, I remember seeing that.
Yeah, that was the Game Awards thing.
And Ark 1 still isn't out, right? Like it's still early access.
Is it?
It's got to be out, right? They wouldn't announce 2 otherwise.
They had an expansion for it before it was out.
Oh yeah, it's
Yeah.
out. It's out.
Oh, is it? Okay. Because even
It's on sale.
don't say that they can't do things just because the game's not out, because 7 Days to
Yeah.
Die was put on physical release and it's still in alpha. You can buy physical copies of 7 Days to Die and it's in alpha. If they can do that, they can do anything.
That's the excuse word of like, we're not done with it. Just buy it. Like
Yeah.
we don't.
We know it's trash, but please,
Yeah.
we want to keep. Please buy it. We're running out of money.
It's better than trying to kickstart it, I guess, and then getting that quality after you get all the money.
Yeah.
Like that happened to Mighty Number 9, I think. How much money that raised, and then everyone hated it.
Yeah, because the
It
game
was
was
like-
fucking trash.
Yeah, and so at least you know it's trash when you're going to buy it, rather than paying money up front and then like imagine if people bought 7 Days to Die like years ago when the alpha was released, but then they were like, we'll just release it when it's done. They wouldn't have a game.
Yeah.
So you, Joe, wanna say a couple of words about the greatest game ever made?
Are you talking about Final Fantasy 13?
What? No. I mean, you can talk about 13 too if you want to.
You're talking about Binding of Isaac?
Yes, I do. That's what I'm talking about.
Yeah, I played Binding of Isaac. It wasn't my first time playing it, but I played it for about 3 hours last night. It was the first time I had really gotten into it. And I had the most ridiculous run that I don't like. I don't. It was almost too easy. It was yeah, it was stupid. So I got, for anyone else familiar, I got Guppy. I got turned into Guppy, which spawns a fly every time you hit somebody. And then I got the finger, which hits somebody just by pointing at them, and it's very rapid hits. So all I had to do was look at somebody, move close enough for the flies, and this is how I beat Satan, even at the very end of the game. I just looked at him, the finger pointed at him, and an unknowable number of flies spawned, and he died in like 2 seconds. The very final boss just fell over. And that's how every boss went as soon as I figured out, as soon as Tom told me how the finger worked. Because I just pointed at people until I had a solid loop of flies and then walked into them and they died. It was pretty ridiculous.
It is hands down one of the most powerful runs I've ever seen in Isaac.
And I
He's too
lucked
good.
into it. I just wanted Guppy. I didn't even know that Guppy was that good. I don't even know if Guppy is good overall, but it was good last night.
Yeah, I mean the Guppy transformation is the best transformation in the game.
And I made it even better with a finger. Yeah.
I think what it's called, it's beginner's luck.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, absolutely. The stuff I did last night, I'm sure that Tom was scratching his eyes out at the stupid decisions I made. It was
Yeah, I mean,
100%.
Like honestly, when you got the finger, and I noticed how it interacts with the guppy flies, at that point I knew that it would be difficult to fuck this run up. And even though you made like a bunch of misplays after that, it didn't matter.
No, it didn't. There was the whole game. I was just like, "Oop, I shouldn't have done that. Oop, I probably shouldn't have done that." And then I still just walked into Satan, and he died.
Yeah, it
Like,
is by far one of the most strongest runs I've ever seen. I've never seen Guppy and the finger interact with each other, and now that I know how it works, yeah, it is by far one of the most strongest things you can have in Isaac.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know that after I realized, or after you pointed that out, I don't think I took any more damage the rest of the run. Because by the time I got close enough, because I just walked into people as soon as I got into a room. And by the time I got close enough that the flies got, that I would take damage by bumping into them, the flies had already murdered them. So, and that was in the bosses too. I just walked straight towards bosses and I still didn't take damage because the flies just killed them. I just walked into a boss, walked into a room, found the nearest enemy, and just tried to run into him, and he just died. That was the game.
Man, you have a hard time 100%ing this game, Tom. Disappointed.
Yeah.
Look
All you
here, you
gotta do
little
is walk
shit.
into him.
I've never played the game. I can't say anything.
It's tough. I am not good at bullet hells, but I think by the time I played Judas the third or fourth time last night, I think I was doing markedly better. But it's definitely I look forward to seeing all the endings because I know there's a billion of them, or at least more of the endings.
I mean, 14, I think.
That's actually about. I was thinking about around 10. So
Yeah, the original, just base game had 10, and then they added a couple more with the DLCs because of different endings or different ending bosses.
yeah. And then also I've been playing the crap out of Final Fantasy 13, and Maestro, if you're still in here, if that, I'm pretty sure I gave Kurt so much garbage for liking Final Fantasy 13. A buddy that I used to hang out with, it was his favorite Final Fantasy, and I gave him so much trash for liking Final Fantasy 13, and I'm actually super enjoying Final Fantasy 13. So it's like once, and I think the difference between then and now is back then Final Fantasy in my mind was always turn-based, and if it wasn't turn-based, then it wasn't Final Fantasy. But what I've realized by going at 1 and playing up to 13 is that Final Fantasy is an ever-evolving system, and every one is a little bit different than the one before, so you can't really say any one system is Final Fantasy because it's always changing. So I think like once you kind of get in that mindset that Final Fantasy doesn't have a defined system, you can enjoy some of the other ones like 13 and 15 a little bit more. But
And
not
12?
12. 12 was
And
no,
12?
not 12.
And 12?
No, 12 is garbage from all mindsets.
Isn't that the one you're going back to play, Tom?
Yeah, it is the one he's gonna play. I do look forward to watching you play it. I think it'll be interesting to see someone who enjoys
Why
it.
do you hate 12?
I just didn't enjoy 12 at all. It was a miserable.
Was it the
experience.
story or
Yeah,
the...
it was everything.
Yeah, fucking everything, yeah.
Like literally everything.
I watched that and it was like painful for me because it's a game that I like and I wanted Joe to like it, and it's just, this is shit and this is shit and who the fuck, this gambit system is from ass and hell, and like god damn it.
Yeah, I wanted to like it too. I did want to like it because I liked I played the crap out of Revenant Wings. I never beat it, but I did play Revenant Wings, so I was already sort of familiar with some of the characters. And I didn't like the Gambit system. Just because I've already rambled about it a bunch. To give you a synopsis, North, I feel like the Gambit system incentivizes you not to play the game. I don't think any of the characters except for Ash and Bosch have any reason to be there. None of them have any reason to be there. The only loosely one besides that is what's the gun guy's name? Balthier. And even he could just be somewhere else accomplishing the same thing. I don't like broad sweeping political stories. I prefer the more like intimate stories, and you can do the big political stories good and show how it affects the characters and like how that's affecting their world, but that didn't really happen because you didn't really know anything about the characters' worlds other than here they are, these are the main guys. And that's so yeah, pretty much everything.
It suffers because they do that big sweeping political stories, but you're never part of it. When you're running around the world, you're not part of that sweeping political story. Yeah. You're just getting to the next checkpoint, essentially. Like, if you're gonna do a sweeping political story, at least have the player be in that story at that point.
Like, I feel like 9 also had a big, at least in the first half of the story, was a very big political story. but your characters were involved. You know, the princess was there. You had, so she was, you know, constantly worried about a slowly manic, turning more and more manic mother, who seemed to out of nowhere want to conquer other kingdoms. And then you have the head of that queen's royal guard trying, you know, in a tight spot between loyalty to the person he's sworn to protect and the kingdom he's sworn to protect. Those are, I mean, that's just two characters, and that's already more reason to be emotionally invested than every character put together in 12, in my opinion.
And honestly, with 9, when Queen Braun did go manic and tried to take over the world, you were there in Lindblom when it got fucked up. You were there in Clara when it got fucked up. You went to Burmecia when it already was fucked up. Like, none of that happened in 12. You were never part of that looming war. The entire war happened off screen in that game. Yeah. They talked about like a standoff. They talked about warships and fleets everywhere. You saw none of that in the entire game.
The emperor that at the beginning of the game is the one trying to conquer all of this stuff dies off screen. Like,
looks like they've run out of budget or something.
Yeah, exactly. And it's like I'm only hearing about all of this stuff, and then they had these badass designs on these on the judges, and they all looked awesome. And anytime they talked, they had this like confidence to them. Whenever it didn't sound like farty audio editing, they had like a confidence. They all seemed very competent, which is not something you see whenever there's a bunch of them. They always try to throw in like a goofy one and one that messes around or something, but they were all intimidating in their own right. And you fight like 2 of them. There's like 10. Why? If these are the 5 of them, if these are like the dude's biggest badasses, why am I only fighting 1 or 2 of them? What happened to the other 3? Did they also die off screen? Probably. That's I feel like you're so detached from the story that and like I don't even know what happened most of the story because it just wasn't interesting for me. But I am glad that some people can enjoy it if you like that type of storytelling, but it's just not the type that I go for.
And honestly, like, even though I like the game, I can still see the flaws, and the flaws are there. The story is god awful, and there's no saving it. They would have to remake the entire game into a better game for the story to make better sense and to be more engaging.
Yeah.
I mean, you literally start 12 with a tutorial where you play a dude who dies in the first 10 minutes, and it's the brother of the main character. And you're supposed to be like emotionally attached to this because the dude died, but you met him like 10 minutes ago, so you don't give a shit.
Yeah.
I think that's a hard thing to see when you're developing it, because when they are developing it, they're attached to it because that's your 9-to-5 job. So they're probably attached to him dying in 10 minutes, but then when everyone else plays it, they're like, who's this guy? Oh no.
Well, yeah. Gone? That's why you put somebody at the helm who's a fucking competent director and have a competent fucking writer.
All this to say, Final Fantasy 15 is a masterpiece.
I can't wait for 15.
That's the one I played. I started at.
Don't
make that face dumb.
I still can't like comprehend that you took like university course.
Yes,
where you have to play Final Fantasy 15.
That definitely, I will say that helped a lot, because there's a prequel movie, there's an anime. That's the one thing with the story. Like I will say, after I had a professor make PowerPoint slides about Final Fantasy 15, make me watch the movie, play all the DLCs, watch the anime, and then go deep into the story about like metaphors that they didn't even touch on, I appreciated the story of the game. 90, the rest of, I had 20 people in my class, so the rest, 6,990,000 whatever thousand people probably didn't get that if they ever play it. So I will admit that there, but I like the game. I like it. Now.
Yeah. I feel
if you ever want the course taught to you, I'm game. I'll pull out my notes.
I feel like with how much I've been accepting of some of the other ones that I've been kind of suspect of, I feel like I gave 12 a pretty fair chance, and it just didn't get me. 13 though, I'm enjoying. I do enjoy the characters, and that are slowly getting fleshed out. They drop little breadcrumbs of things that are really subtle, but they're really impactful. Like if you're paying attention, if you think about them in certain lights, like the Zaz character, the black guy with the fro that has a chocobo that lives up there, that was the first one that I noticed that they started dropping like little breadcrumbs of what his background was, because he talks about his kid, and he has some really nice, really heartwarming scenes with Vanille, the girl in the series, that also ends up being really interesting, and she's just like a 13-year-old girl. I'm more attached to these two characters only 13 hours into the game than I am on anyone that was in 12, because I don't remember anyone really having that type of interaction. Like the scene that I'm talking about is like they're camping, and Zaz goes to lay down, and Vanille is like laying by herself, and at this point you already know that there's like something going on with him and his son. And he goes to lay down, and he wakes up a few hours later, and Vanille is like snuggled up into him. Like she was trying to act like a hard ass and she can take care of herself. And he's like, whatever. And he wakes up and sees her, and he doesn't do anything. Like you can tell that there's like a fatherly side to him, that he knows that she's vulnerable and she just needs somebody. And you know, that type of subtlety didn't exist in 12. So I think there was more.
None of the characters in 12 had those types of interactions because it didn't exist in 12.
Yeah. Because there wasn't a need for it. It wasn't about them. And this, like, the whole Lassie thing inherently makes it forces it to be about them. Like the fact that at any moment they're either gonna die or turn into a crystal for the rest of time, that inherently puts you on a clock and makes you care about every single one of these characters. And then the other one is like, well, what if Balthier doesn't want to do this? It doesn't matter. He's a sky pirate. He'll just go sky pirating. What if Fran doesn't want to? She'll be with Balthier. What about anyone but two characters? It doesn't matter. They can just do other things. They have other lives. Like that's how disconnected everyone was, except for Ash and Bosch. So, but everyone in this is forced by the thread of their life, essentially, by some power that they can't and don't understand yet, and that pushes them forward, that compels them to push the plot forward instead of being pushed forward by the plot. And I like that, even if it is a plot that exists in one hallway. Which it is definitely that. It is blatantly final hallway. I'm told that it opens up eventually, but I'm 14 hours in and it hasn't yet. So I don't know. But I feel like it should open up soon. But right now it definitely is final hallway.
Yes.
So.
Yes.
I agree. I've never played the game.
There's
a second one too, right? 13.
There is.
I've only heard bad things about 13.
I had also only heard bad things about 13, but it's changed my mind. Maybe I just have bad taste. But there is 2 sequels to it, Trevor.
What's the other one?
I think there's just 13-2 and then 13 Lightning Returns.
Oh yeah. And then 15 was also supposed to be a 13 game.
Oh really?
Yeah.
15 started out as Final Fantasy 13 Versus, I think. That was the working title.
Versus 13.
Yeah,
there you go. It was called Versus 13 in the very first trailer they released like a decade ago. You can still find it on YouTube. And that's what I noted with 15, like at the time when I was playing it off stream and stuff. It's amazing, like the very first trailers of 15 are like 10 years old before the game even hit. It's amazing how Noctis, the main character of 15, how much he looks like Noctis in that first trailer.
Oh yeah,
they fucking roll with that shit. Like no changes to him. It's amazing.
I mean, you got emo anime boy. It's like, what do we have to change? That's what he is in 15. Yeah. Go for it.
We did the little brooding emo girl in 13, so and we gotta do a boy now. Put a black jacket on him and black hair, and it's a game.
At least 16 doesn't look emo. If y'all saw that trailer.
Yeah, at least like everyone's already noted this. This is no way original, but 16 gives me so much like Final Fantasy Tactics vibes because it's made by the same dude who made Tactics.
That'll do it.
And 16 gives me very much like way more hope for the combat system because they hired the dude who made the Devil May Cry combat system for 16.
Interesting.
So I hope that I can get a combat system in 16 that is a little bit more involved than holding X to win.
You're telling me holding one button to dodge every attack at you is a bad design choice?
Yeah, I'm look, I know you can make the 15 combat system more interesting for yourself if you choose to, but I beat the game by doing the same thing from the start of the game to the very last boss of the game.
Oh yeah, no, I did the exact same thing.
Holding one button.
Wow.
Sometimes I dodged, sometimes I pressed the Y button to hop onto the wall to recharge my MP, and then I pressed the same button again and I flew in.
That was a weird choice. It was like, yeah, so here's the get away from the entire battle and just watch button.
I think they had to make it because your special moves are tied to MP, and and you deplete MP real quick, and there's like shitty ways to recharge it. So they created this system where you can warp to a point somewhere in a ceiling or whatever and recharge your MP completely, and then you can jump right back into that battle and deplete that MP again. It makes combat faster and flashier because if you don't do the MP attacks, that's when you're holding one button and waiting for you to win. That
sounds like turn-based combat with extra steps.
It's
essentially
it's a shitty combat system. But it is. It's
it
half-baked.
Looks flashy, but
yeah, it looks flashy. Like you can see videos where Noctis he's flying around and like doing these attacks, but what you don't see is the player literally holding one button down. Because when you hold that one button, he does all those things by himself. There's no inputs.
Yeah. If I remember, you set up like different weapons for different parts of his combo or whatever, and then that's what happens. That's what's like pushed out as you just hold X.
Yeah, you hold the attack button, it'll do as many attacks as forever, and then you hold the dodge button and it'll dodge forever. And there's your game.
Sweet.
It is still the worst video game I've ever loved.
I don't have any doubt you probably will enjoy it if you've played every other one, but maybe not.
Yeah, I think Joe will enjoy it. Like, honestly, if like, it's not worse than 13. Like if you can hold out the beginning portion of the game where you're, and like, please game developers, please, if you're gonna make an open world game, don't put the fucking player like in the game at the beginning in the fucking desert where there's like nothing but brown. It is the most boring thing you could do. Like do whatever else because there is something else in the game, but you chose to start with the desert. And then you have the player spend their like 15 to 20 hours doing nothing. Come on, man.
Yeah, there was a big like road trip emphasis, and then I'm like, okay, just let me pay the minimal amount of money to get from point A to point B. I don't want to stare at a car for an hour as we go across the map. Which was like, they had cool conversations. I did it when it was important, like tied to the story. Also, don't recap. There was an event in the game. I'm not gonna spoil it or anything, but like that is an entire movie, and which is, you know what, in that class we had to watch the movie, and they recap it in 10 seconds. There's also a trailer to Final Fantasy 15 that is canon, so we had to watch the trailer otherwise you get it, because the trailer's like 2 minutes long. It's basically a cutscene that's canon for the game. But if you don't watch it, then you get a 5-second recap, and you're like, what just happened? And so there's a bunch of weird design choices where it's like they came out with the game, but also you need to watch the anime, the movie, play the 4 DLC, watch the trailer that's freaking canon. And it's like, good
That's
story, but why is it a 5,000 puzzle, like 5,000 piece puzzle?
I've never heard of a canon trailer. That's new.
Oh, me too. I was like, I didn't even know. Well, like the first time I played it, of course I didn't know because I just didn't know it was part of the game. And then he's like, this is the trailer that came out, I think, a few days before the game came out, and it was canon. Doesn't age well. Maybe if you play it at the time and you're really excited for the game, it was like, ooh, callback thing to the trailer. But like
15 is like built up in this way that I hope that will never continue with any other video game, where it's not just a game. It's just what, like Trevor says, there's like a movie, an anime, and DLCs, whatnot. The game is not the story. It's not the full story. You have to consume all this other content to fully appreciate the entire story of 15. And that's where I think the biggest fault with 15 is. They're screwing the players. They're screwing everyone who just played the game. Because if you just played the game, the story sucks. It's fucking awful. I mean, there's no way around it. It sucks. Because nothing fucking happens. You get like, there's a huge exposition dump in the main game, like an hour before you see end credits. And it's like, whew, that was a wild ride. and like, all the other things that give context to the entire story are not in the fucking video game. I've said this on stream. The main villain of 15, I think, is one of the best video game villains ever.
Yeah.
But if you just play the vanilla game, he is one of the worst villains ever. Because they don't develop him in any way.
And then you can't even appreciate the full game because they did that, people are like, this sucks, lost money, and then they had DLC that was, planned that got canceled because they were losing money from doing this. It's like, so like some characters you'll be like, oh, they seem interesting, which they were gonna flesh out in a DLC that got canceled. So then you're left like, okay, that's I see them a few times. That's
it's like
cool.
They woke up one day to like massive backlash, and they went to the meeting, and they're like, wait, what? Do they want us to flesh out our main villain? What? Do we have to give him context, reason, and story? I thought gamers were stupid. They just want to win. What the fuck?
We gave them the button to win.
Yeah, the button's right there. It's on the controller. There's even a prompt on screen.
What happened?
We have lost.
Wait. I'm good.
We've lost Trevor.
No, I'm fine. I promise. Hold on, I got too riled up. Final Fantasy 15.
I got too riled up.
Whoa.
He's coming back.
Shit. Are we getting Trev back? Well, I mean, at least the mic still works for Trev, so that's good.
Yeah. Maybe.
Or does it, Trev?
Yeah, he's there.
Hi.
Oh, okay.
Let me out.
Wait. Hold on. Please.
Well,
The
shit.
leprechaun fauna. Try rejoining.
Damn you, Square Enix!
Well, shit. At least we got Pikachu face.
Everyone's frozen on my screen.
Or are we?
Yeah,
What is this?
Just rejoin the call.
Yeah,
Oh,
just
okay,
disconnect and
yeah.
rejoin. Oh, now this podcast is 3 people. I look real fucked up, but well, there we go.
He's back. Maybe. We may just have to Pikachu face it, Trevor. And you busted it.
Yeah, it might have to
Hey.
happen. Boom. There's.
Oh no, I got dubbed. Hold on. So I will explain what happened. Sometimes I accidentally I got so worked up, I stepped on my microphone cord and it unplugged my microphone, and my computer does not know what to do when that happens. So
Killed your
I
webcam?
yeah. No, like Tom was. I played Papers, Please on stream. My mic unplugged, and Tom was like, "What happened?" I'm like, "It breaks everything." It is the weirdest issue. I think because Discord always runs in the background. I think all I have to do is end. Like I'm gonna just end task, Control Alt delete it, and then come back, and I think we should be good. I apologize.
Yeah, no worries, man.
Well, while that's happening, the enemy for the final boss for 15 sounds an awful lot like the final boss for 12, who after they killed him, they just didn't say anything. He just quietly was dead.
Yeah, I mean, I do agree. Like the main villain in 12 is also very undercooked.
Yeah,
and I don't understand, like, because it seems like it happens so often in a lot of media where the main villain is just the worst kind of villains are the ones that are they're just evil and doing evil things because they're evil. And I do apologize, things will be a little bit fucked up on stream because of the cam positions, but we'll be okay.
it'll be fixed.
Only you will be fucked up. Joe and I are just fine.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
I mean, I'll just,
Yeah, I don't know what you're talking about.
yeah, that's,
You can just like peek in the corner, like, "Yo, what's up?"
I'm not gonna peek for anyone.
Yeah, and that's the worst type of villain is one that doesn't have, like, to make a good villain, you have to understand where they're coming from. Like you have to be able to empathize with a villain on some level. Now, of course, you're not going to agree 100%, or you would also be a villain. But on some level, you have to be able to see like how their thought process could get to where they are. And if a villain isn't fleshed out or worked out well, you're not going to have that connection. If they're just evil for evil's sake, it's not even satisfying to stop them.
Yeah, I mean, because there's no stakes.
Yeah. Like I said, you've got to be able to connect with the villain on some level, and even in some cases they have to have some redeeming qualities, and very, very rarely are villains neither of those and good villains.
Yeah,
like they have to have your pity or your admiration or even just some empathy. You have to connect with the villain on some level, and if you don't give them any kind of fleshing out, who gives a shit? Just play a different game.
What if I say two villains that I would consider that you don't? Okay, I don't know. Maybe you do connect with them. There are two villains that I consider to be very good villains.
Blame on me. I love villains.
Kefka would be one, and the Joker would be the second one.
So the Joker, in general, is meant to just be chaos. Like he doesn't connect with you on a personal level. The Joker is meant to connect to you on like a societal level. So that's what the Joker is, basically the uncaring, chaotic nature of the universe. So and that's what makes him, his unpredictability, and he is an exception. Because if you do that now, it's just like, oh, you're the Joker. That's not cool. I don't know about Kefka. That's a good point, because I think he is a good villain, but he doesn't have any really redeeming qualities or empathy or anything.
Yeah, because I don't think the Joker and Kefka are similar in almost any way, but they are kind of that end of some spectrum.
Mm-hmm.
Like you said, Joker's essentially just chaos, and I think Kefka is just pure evil.
Yeah,
like everything, he poisons a village or the castle. He deliberately destroyed the world, and then he like became a god, and then you killed him. Yeah. And everything he does in the game is to further his own ambition to just completely fuck everyone else over. And oh my god, Trevor, what's happening? Hello.
Whoa.
Oh no.
The mic.
Oh shoot.
What mic are you using?
Yeah, what mic are you using?
I had to replug in my webcam. I'm mute.
That's your headset mic, dude.
Yeah, I think you're using your headset mic.
Yeah, I
for
think
sure.
that's the headset mic. Does the other mic even work anymore?
Damn.
But yeah, like it's sometimes weird how they do the villain development. Like in anime, it goes like you know something about the villain, mostly about like the plot and stuff. But when the good guys actually like beat the villain, and then they go like, "Oh, I'm almost about to die," and then you see like all the good stuff he had in mind, or like some like grand scheme that actually like helps opening and understanding the villain. But like some movies like Marvel, like the end game, it's kind of weird because you see like the what's his name,
Thanos?
the guy.
Thanos?
Thanos, yeah. You like learn everything about him, and then you kind of have to like fight him again, and that's so weird because I'm not like used to it. Like I'm already like kind of on your side, but kind of not, because killing like half of the universe is kind of a bad idea.
Douche
And
move.
then you have to like fight it, and then it just pretty much ends.
Yeah.
At least it's better than
I
DC
totally
bosses.
agree.
Yeah, I'll give you that.
Am I back?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
You're good.
Okay, I have a message for freaking Windows. If you ever decide to like update your freaking operating system without my permission, while
No,
I was like, restart, it'll take 2 seconds, and it's like updating your Windows, restarting your computer 3 times. Oh, unplugging all your USB.
Because it's Wednesday or Thursday, they
Yeah.
always have Windows update.
That's what
Second
We're good though,
Wednesday
we
of every
fixed it.
month, man. Come on, you should know this shit. Come on.
Yeah.
First Wednesday of every month is the tornado sirens. Second Wednesday of the month is Windows. Got it.
Windows Wednesday.
Got it.
Windows Wednesday. Yeah.
Yeah,
Like every podcast, like not every podcast, but a lot of the podcasts, I have to physically like push the updates further, because if I let the updates go, they would be in the middle of the podcast. Like today, they would have been in the middle of the podcast.
Yeah, totally. Crazy. Who would let that happen? We're good now, though.
Yeah.
I apologize.
No
You're
problem.
good, man.
That was wild.
Ain't no thing. Yeah, Kefka's an exception to those though, I think. And maybe it's because he is like so unrepentantly evil that he does make a good villain. Like there is a certain amount, but he's also interesting. Like he does, seeing him climb that ladder to get to where he is does flesh him out quite a bit.
Yeah, I think that the strength there is that you follow Kefka. You see that ladder climbing, and he's not like, because so many villains in my mind are they introduce a villain and it's like he's evil. Oh, okay. And then like 6 hours goes by, and then the evil guy does something evil, and there's okay. And then you fight him, and then you kill him, and there's okay.
Yeah. Yeah, and yeah, you don't, and that's another big thing that makes a bad villain is just telling us how evil he is. And they didn't do that with Kefka. They didn't, we knew Kefka was bad, but he wasn't, like in the beginning of the game, he's not even the big bad. It's another guy. And you see him be ruthless, and you see people on his side start to realize him being ruthless. So I think that he's the exception to like having that connection with a villain is you see him slowly gain power, so you learn firsthand how ruthless and how evil he is, and I think that maybe drives you to want to stop him. And the fact that he succeeds in his plan, because he does succeed, that's a whole other layer of villainy that isn't in other Final Fantasy games. I think that adds another bit of interest to that character.
It's crazy, like if you have the privilege to play FF6 like blind, and you get to that halfway point of the game and you don't know about the second half, and Kefka wins, like you lose. That's a huge moment for the player. And you start to hate that guy more. He completely ruins the world. And then it dawns on the player that there's this entire the game's like not even over yet. Like you were amped up to kill that motherfucker on that tower and end the game, and then it's like, nah, bitch, you lose, motherfucker.
Yeah. Yeah, and you can lose big time. I mean, like if you do it wrong, people die. Like you it's a big deal. Like that is not we got our tail smacked, we better go regroup and come back with a different plan.
Rendezvous with the hideout.
Yeah. Going back to Seventh Heaven and talk to Tifa for a little bit. People are scattered across the world, and you have to find them and convince them to rejoin your cause.
Get the band back together.
Yeah, Kefka whipped the shit out of them, and you've got to convince them to try to let him do it again. it's yeah. Kefka's a good villain. He's very much an exception to the empathy type thing.
Bonus points also just because the final fight with Kefka is one of the best in all video games ever made.
Yeah. Good one. Anyway, that's enough about Final Fantasy VI. I don't know how we wrapped around to that, but here we are.
Oh yeah, that was a little.
Is that the one that was 3 and then also 6?
Yeah. Yeah, that was Binding of Isaac and Final Fantasy 13, I guess.
Yeah.
And 15 and
and 15 and 16.
And technical difficulties.
And a little bit
and
of 9.
every villain ever.
Every villain ever.
I think my favorite kind of old RPG is still Chrono Trigger. I think I'm so good. Just kind of on topic but off topic.
Yeah, man,
He's
Chrono Trigger is really good.
That's another exception to that empathy rule, but it's also he wins. Lavos wins in that game, and you gotta undo it.
Mm. Yeah, and Lavos is also just this.
He's a plot device more than anything.
Yeah, he like this mindless beast. Essentially, he has no personality and he has no motivation, and just there. You can replace Lavos with like a end of the world kind of whatever.
Yeah, and I think that's the difference in that is like you don't have a villain, you're on a clock. In a game with time travel, you're still on a clock.
I mean, you could argue that Magus, he acts like the villain in the game for a large portion of the game until you either recruit him or don't recruit him.
I played that game in middle school, and that boss fight kicked my tail for days on end.
The Magus one?
Yep.
It's difficult.
It was a tough fight.
I like holy. I also probably didn't help that I was in middle school, but like, whoo, I hated that.
Did you play it on DS?
Yes.
Sick.
That was my introduction to a lot of older games, like Super Mario 64. The first time I played that was the remake on the DS. Same with Chrono Trigger. And
did the DS version have the PlayStation cinematics, the animated ones?
I think so. I remember. I can't remember whether I just YouTubed them or played them, but it came after, so I'm pretty sure it did.
Yeah, I think that if it does, then that's the version people should get, because they actually added something onto the end of that game to tie it canonically into Chrono Cross. You actually at the end, there's like Magus comes out and he actually references something from Chrono Cross and like time travel and stuff, and it actually does like solidify that the Magus in Chrono Cross is the same one from Trigger. And that's only in the DS version.
They did put Chrono Trigger on Steam like 2 years ago, and even that port got like massive hate because it was like fucked up.
Yeah, you can play it on the App Store.
Yeah. Yeah, it's the one on Steam is the same one on the iPhone App Store.
I heard that like the big reason why they can't do the original game is because they don't have the source code anymore. Like it's lost.
I believe that.
Oops.
Oops, misplaced it.
It was yeah. Where did I put
Could you do anything? I'm not tech savvy, but there is like, you can get the SNES ROM or whatever. Maybe do something with that, but like I don't know.
I don't know. Like, yeah, like Rose is saying in chat that it's like 100% lost. That's what I heard too.
Wow.
Yeah, I'm sure there's a big difference in the amount of information you can pull from source code and the amount you can pull from a ROM. So
That's probably what they did actually. Now that I think about it. But...
Yeah, I mean any iOS port is like half-assed. Let's be real.
Unfortunately, that's the only way to play a like legal version of 3 that isn't handheld. Like the actual 3 is the PC port, the Steam port, and it's just straight up like you can even even the icons on the menuing are still giant, like they're supposed to be for your finger. Like every button is like this big on my screen because it's supposed to be this big on a phone so you can touch it.
Like so many of like Square's releases on Steam are just direct ports from iOS, and it like pisses me off. They're so low effort that it fucking unacceptable, really.
Even the new games like Nier Automata, the PC port is doo-doo butt cheeks bad, and like glad I didn't play it on PC, but
damn, bro.
Apparently, again,
I got it on
reviews.
Steam. No.
I mean, it's playable. It's got to be.
Yeah, I mean, it totally is playable, but you know, it's
probably just like people nitpicking. Like it probably is better on console, but
some developers just hate putting stuff on PC again, I guess.
I reckon it's extra work. Nobody likes work.
I mean, like the fact that like what baffles me, for instance, with Final Fantasy Tactics is that there's no version on PC, and like there's a newer version of FF Tactics called War of the Lions, I think, or War of the Lion, that exists on phone. But for some fucking reason, they cannot put this PS1 classic that virtually everyone who played it loved it. They cannot be fucking like they don't care to put it on PC, and I don't understand why. God damn, I would love to play Tactics on PC. Legally.
Maybe one day. Legally.
Because I do have a ROM for it.
Uh-oh.
Woo!
No, I mean, fuck you, Square. Like, it's not my fault that I cannot buy your shitty fucking things anywhere. Are you asking me to go somewhere to buy a PlayStation 1 and then buy a fucking overpriced copy of your game? Fuck you.
Yeah, they wouldn't make money from it anyways. That's the
exactly. Fuck you.
Yeah, it's pretty goofy. I mean, it doesn't like they're so. You know that those games would sell. You know they would.
And
just
like,
lazy.
If they're already like putting just low effort iOS clones on Steam, why not put that one game on Steam?
I wonder if there's like a petition. Can we have a petition for?
Oh, petitions do so much in our society now.
Yeah. They
I'm
are.
sure
It's like shooting flowers at killers. Please stop. Please stop.
Petition to stop all serial killers.
Change.org. The best, most influential website ever made.
Serial killers just bum me out. Can they stop?
Can we make serial killers illegal?
Petition to stop world hunger.
Jesus Christ.
I write my name under that.
Just in case. Just in case.
You never know. You want to be on the right side of the history, you know?
Yeah, I want to write my name on it too. Petition. But if I write my name on it, I'll take a picture and put it on the internet for internet codes.
Oh yeah.
Look at me, internet, doing a good thing. Beep, beep.
I went to Panda Express the other day and donated my 74 cents. Thank you very much. I'm saving world hunger one bowl of chow mein at a time.
It's like taking a picture of a receipt when you round up, and the rest goes to charity.
That's what I'm about. I donate to charity every time I eat at Panda. I'm a very charitable, giving man.
How often is a panda eating excursion?
Maybe once every 2 weeks. My guts can't handle much more than that.
They at university they have a panda on campus, and they force us to buy money specifically called dining dollars that you have to use at the restaurants on campus. It's an every other day thing for me. Can't round up imaginary money though, now can you?
True.
That's how they get you.
Imaginary money that I had to pay up front. They made me pre-order food.
Dude, that's real. That's what you did. That's wild.
Pre-order food.
Holy cow.
I fucking hate that.
No pre-ordering. Oh, it is. And if you don't use your dining dollars, it goes to Bama Cash. There you go. Alabama is the best university. In which you can. No, this is the hack. Is since they force you to, as a part of your tuition, to pay that. If you don't eat, you could roll all your dining dollars into Bama Cash, and they have a tech store. You could buy a laptop in 3 years with the money they force you to
In
spend.
3 years.
I'm not gonna eat for 3 years, but
There
you
you
gotta get a laptop.
Intel Core processor. Let's go. Get my i3.
Pre-ordering food. Fuck me, I hate that.
That's a new one. That's a new one.
Isn't there
Jesus
like
Christ.
you can order like ingredients to your home, and it will have like a recipe, and you have
Oh,
to
yeah.
like
Yeah,
cook
there's
it.
a bunch of those different things.
Yeah.
And they cost like $50 per meal.
That's also like I can understand like why people do it. It's they get to experience something new, and because they give you something, it's like a surprise, but you just have to cook it yourself. They cost a shitload, and I think they're basically a scam, because you are buying produce with an extra step. You could Google everything.
It's a lifestyle, bro. You wouldn't get it.
Yeah, I don't.
I live that YouTuber life. Everything is delivered to my door and sponsored.
Because I've seen like YouTubers promote like Apron and some other boxes, and what I don't understand, like, if you want to do it, then why don't you just Google what this week's box is and then go to your local store and buy that shit and make it anyway?
Yeah.
200 IQ, man.
Because motherfucker, I want the food to my fucking home. I don't go outside. What the fuck?
Yeah. I mean, that's all it is you're just paying for that convenience. Because like and they don't even try to hide that. Like, most of the YouTubers are like, I don't even have to measure it out. And like, that's the big thing, is like, I don't have to cut up that much. It's already clean. I don't have to measure it out. It's like, is it that hard to take a spoonful of something?
It's because I don't have a spoon, motherfucker.
I pre-ordered my spoon and then throw them away.
Yeah, sign up for
Sponsored by
the spoon
Spoon
subscription service. That's what you're missing.
I don't have a measuring cup either. I don't know. I'm too old to understand. Like, are we becoming lazy, or like humanity in like together?
Yes.
Are we the bad guys?
It's called efficiency.
Is it though?
Yeah.
Is it?
I don't think it's laziness not to like do it. It's just you value the time more than actually like
what
looking it
time,
up.
though?
Well, first you have to look up what is the box, and then you have to go
Okay.
to the store,
I'll
and then
show
you have
Nord.
to.
I'll do this live. Interesting recipes.
Yeah, but then I gotta go pick up the stuff.
Yeah.
And then
but
what
it's
if
gonna
they
be
don't have
right
it?
outside my
So
door?
and that's there you can make that argument. The trip to the store, buy the shit, and the trip back home. That's what you are not like.
Yeah.
When you're buying the box, you don't have to do all that. But I would argue that it's such a small thing, though.
Yeah, but think about like pretty much every single grocery store nowadays has like some sort of like home delivery. Like you add up and then you either go like pick it up or you pay like absurd amount of money and they will like bring it to you.
And
Why not have it implemented in the store? Like you would have like daily meal thing and it would be like $10 and they will like put it automatically there.
I mean, they can do that too. I don't know if they do that up in Oulu, but down here in the capital where I live,
they do it.
I mean, I can order produce, and they gather everything, and then I just go and get it.
Yeah, but you have to like decide which produce you want. But what if they like offer you a recipe? Like we have this week special. If you want, like make this, so you don't have to like even think about what are you gonna make with the stuff.
I'm pretty sure there's daily recipe blogs.
Thousands,
like
thousands upon thousands. But the internet is filled.
I get what you're saying though. I do think that's pretty much the only advantage to it as well, is that it might make you try to cook something that you may not normally try to cook. That is in my opinion the only valid reason to use that, because from what I've seen is it does actually like break down certain like cooking processes and whatnot, like kind of explain how you're supposed to do certain things.
And it's like every Thursday it's lasagna and Tuesdays it's tacos. So every week.
I mean, it is the surprise. The surprise element is there. Like you don't know what you're gonna get.
Surprise mechanics. Loot
Yeah.
boxes. Grocery store loot boxes. Let's go. We hit it.
Fuck, I hate this too.
Full circle.
Food loot boxes, food pre-ordering. What the hell?
Is that a legendary grapefruit?
What are we gonna get? Food DLC? Gosh dang.
I bet there is fucking. It's like $20 for this box. If you tack on a $5 there, you get the special sauce. God damn it!
Well, I'm just never gonna eat at an EA restaurant. They'll bring me out raw chicken and tell me they're gonna cook it later.
If you pay extra.
If I pay extra, yeah.
They'll just demand you to like test it.
No, eat some of this raw chicken first. We'll cook the rest. We swear. Oh no, we aren't gonna cook the rest, but you still need to eat that chicken.
See, Knight is already saying there is DLC called meal upgrades. That shit is what I mean. They have the box, and then it's like you want to have a better box. Like take this upgrade.
Yeah, 10% legendary box. It might have filet mignon in it. You have a 1% chance.
And then we
Oh my god. You're giving so many bad ideas.
That Joe's eating.
You've got a
Early access
5%
chicken.
chance. Yeah, you've got a 5% chance your sirloin's going to be upgraded to a filet mignon for free. I would do that.
Here's the meat box, and then it's like you have the 5% to get the better quality meat.
Oh no.
We're gonna produce 100 boxes of these meat boxes. One of them will have Kobe beef. Are you the one who's gonna get it?
We need to delete this VOD after we're done. We can't give people this idea.
EA's going into the food business.
We have so many bad ideas over the course of this fucking podcast.
Yeah, someone's making notes like, oh, loot boxes, food boxes.
We have been playing into the hands of our enemies for 2 years now.
Dude, we have been. We've been putting way too many good bad ideas out into the ether.
We should really start selling these ideas. We can make a pretty penny with this shit.
Pantsless Podcast, the think tank.
Yeah. So, sometimes we talk about video games too.
Yeah. Most of the time we complain about restaurants.
We should only
shitty food loot boxes.
Yep.
Yeah. There's a 5% chance it's Wagyu. There's also a 5% chance it's cat meat. So
yeah, you gotta have like some real shit there too.
Yeah. You have to have bad ones.
and then you would have like this mystery box and it could be any item inside.
You have no idea what animal it is. You just have to
What if I'm allergic? Fuck you. Try it anyway.
Mystery meat. Is it human? Is it kangaroo?
I mean,
No one knows.
we have literally cracked the code how to gamify eating.
Yeah. I guarantee if you did that, you'd get people. 100%. If you had a steak subscription service and there was a 5% chance that it was Wagyu, guaranteed.
Yeah, because-
I would sign up for that. I eat steak anyway. Of course I'm gonna get the, and that's how they get you. You eat steak anyway, but it could be Wagyu.
Fuck. Fuck, I need to call my cousin who's a chef. Let's fuck me. I'm gonna fucking do it. Stay tuned, motherfuckers.
Yeah, we have a freaking family restaurant. That's what we're gonna start doing down here.
That should be it, man.
Figured
You
it
order
out.
it for one.
I
The
fucking
menu is just loot boxes.
Because you don't even have to make it fancy. It's literally like you have like here 100 boxes. It's just a steak, and one of the boxes is like something special.
Yeah. It's just a meat box, so it's just a plain white box. You don't even have to design it.
Isn't this just Charlie and the Chocolate Factory now?
Yeah.
But with steak.
That's what they did. They did it first. Charlie and the Chocolate Factory did loot boxes.
Fucking Charlie and his fucking chocolate.
But
Yeah, a
because
discount
it's
code.
considered gambling, you can't sell it to under 18.
It's okay.
It's not gambling because you're getting something when you put your money in.
Yeah, exactly.
Everyone's a winner, North. Just
Yeah.
some
The
people
argument.
win more than others.
Yeah. Yeah. It's not gambling because
Everyone's a
you
winner
get
at
something
mine.
anyway. Yeah.
Yeah. You always at least get a steak. It might be a cat steak, but it is at least a steak.
Can we get a discount code for podcast listeners?
Yeah. Use code PPBros and you'll get your free steak.
Yeah, go to steaksub.com/PP bros.
Increases 10% chance to PP meat.
Yeah, it doesn't even give you a discount code. It's a 1% increased chance for the Wagyu. That's
But let's refrain from calling it PP meat, North.
it.
It's a bad marketing push.
Or it's a good marketing push.
It's
There's
so
a
bad
lot-
it's good.
Yeah,
It
exactly.
makes the news.
People want more and more like outrageous things, so calling it just PP meat is just,
I mean, Gamer Girl bathwater sold out in
Yeah.
minutes.
in minutes. Yeah.
And that one bidet is just straight up called Tushy.
And Gwyneth
Or that
Paltrow
energy
said-
drink called Pussy.
Oh yeah.
See?
and Gwyneth Paltrow like openly sells candles that smells like her vagina. So
Yeah. We can sell PP meat.
yeah, PP meat. It's okay.
Yeah, there's definitely worse things than PP meat.
I think there's a law in the States that forbids people from selling PP meat. It's the prostitution law down here.
I guess we'll find out. Trevor, we'll
The
cross that bridge when we come to
prostitution
it. Didn't someone vape the bathwater? I'm pretty sure I remember seeing people vape the bath. I don't know if they got sick, but I do remember hearing about the
They
vaping.
probably got E. coli or something.
Of course, they would fucking vape the bathwater.
Yeah.
What the
Why wouldn't you?
Yeah, why would
Just
you?
breathe it in.
All right, we're going over already.
Wow.
Thanks for
Episode
watching,
went by
everyone.
quick. Yeah, it
It's
was a
good to
good
be
first
back.
episode of the year.
Yeah, it's good to be back. I had like a final story, but I was way more happier that we did this entire rant about food boxes.
We'll get to that story next episode. It's only 2 weeks away.
But yeah, thanks everyone for watching. God, it's good to be back. I really I enjoy doing this content. Yeah.
I do too. I definitely super enjoy it.
Anyway, well, I'm gonna hoard out myself first because I know what I'm gonna do. Tomorrow, we will do a Little Nightmares 2 stream over on my channel, twitch.tv/Tumalo. I've been waiting for Little Nightmares 2 for a long time. I recommend anyone play the first game. It is excellent if you like this creepy horror style with disturbing visuals, I'd say. I'm gonna delve into the second game. Also, after Little Nightmares 2 is done, if Final Fantasy 12 comes to Game Pass, we will start our kind of 100% run of that then.
And to also advertise for myself, I will be playing Final Fantasy 13 tomorrow night. If anybody wants to come around, my streams start at the same time as our podcasts do over on twitch.tv/Gradigi.
I will also plug. I have an essay due on Friday, so if anyone wants to write that for me, use I'm down. I'll give you 10 more % off on PP Me, easy. It will probably stream this weekend, Little Nightmares 2. So if nobody wants to watch Tom, I'm here.
And unlike these dudes, I have no idea what I'm doing. And
You're
you
gonna
probably
play
can't
Tarkov.
find me anywhere.
He'll play
Yeah, I'm
Tarkov. Use
actually,
your
I'm probably okay.
imagination.
Yeah.
To watch it.
Now that the Bitcoin price is going off the rails, it is like the Bitcoin price in Tarkov is tied to the real Bitcoin. So everything is like overinflated right now. Everything costs a shit ton.
I fucking
course.
love it.
That's
Yeah.
the one game that would happen to.
Yeah,
I hate it.
that's brutal.
To the moon.
To the fucking moon.
Lord.
Whew. We'll be back in 2 weeks. The 4th Wednesday of this month. It'll be the 24th of this month. Over here, 7 p.m. EST.
Till next time.
Smile and wave. Do you want to still say something?
No, we can wait while I'm saying this. Wouldn't that make the time between the next podcast and this one, because February ends on the 28th, like really be shorter? I'm fine with that. I'm just.
It'll all work out. Oh, we'll see you guys later.
What? I don't know.
I may just
Later,
sound
guys.
stupid.
Bye.
Bye.